Hey guys, welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to solve fractions using LCM or LCD. So in the previous video, we learned how to do cross multiplication to add fractions. For example, in this case, it would just be, we would multiply 6 with 3, 5 with 4, and then 4 with 6. So we'll get 6 times 3 is 18, plus 4 times 5 is 20. And then 6 times 4 is 24, and then we'll solve this way using cross multiplication. But in this tutorial, we're going to learn how to solve them using LCD or LCM. So LCD just stands for least common denominator, and LCM just stands for least common multiple. So since we are doing it for the denominator, which is this number 4 and 6, we just call it LCD. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at our denominator, which is 4 and 6, and we're going to list all the multiples for these. So let's list all the multiples of 4 and 6, just the first few. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, then 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 5 is 20. Let's just do the first 4 or 5. And then similarly for 6, we'll do 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, but we'll stop here because you notice we already found the common multiple of 4 and 6, like the least common multiple of 4 and 6, which is 12. So we can just stop here. We don't need to continue because we have already found the least common multiple, which is 12. So what we need to do here is we need to rewrite this where the denominator becomes 12. So what do we need to do to convert 4 to 12? We just multiply this with 3. And whenever we multiply the denominator with a number, we multiply the numerator, which is this number, with the same number. So we have to multiply this with 3 as well. And then for 6 to get 12, we have to multiply it by 2. So 6 times 2 will get 12, and then 5 times 2 will multiply 5 with 2 as well. So this just becomes 3 times 3 is 9, plus 5 times 2 is 10. And then we're going to say divided by 4 times 3 is 12, so is 6 times 2 is 12. So denominator, once the denominator is the same, we just write one number here. We don't have to say 12 plus 12. This is because let's say if you have a pizza here, let me just draw something, and you have like 4 pieces here. Let's say if you take one piece, you have 1 out of 4. If you take another quarter here, so 1 out of 4, if you add them, this just becomes 2 out of 4 equals 1 by 2. So you have half pizza. But if you were adding the denominator as well, you would get 2 out of 8 equals 1 out of 4. So that doesn't make sense. Like you added one more slice here, but your pizza is the same, 1 out of 4. So that's why we just, once you have common denominator, you just keep it the same. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, so here we just solve it. 9 plus 10 is 19 divided by 12. So here we can leave it as is, but this is an improper fraction, meaning the numerator, which is this number, is larger than this number. So you can rewrite this as a mixed number. So what we'll do is we'll just divide 19 by 12. So 12 times 1 is 12. Let's subtract this, you get 7. So this just becomes, how many whole do you have? You can have 1 whole. So 1 whole, and then this is the remainder, 7. 7 out of the denominator stays the same. So this is 1 whole 7 by 12, and here's your answer. Okay, now let's solve this one. 2 out of 9 plus 1 out of 12. So similarly here, we'll take the denominator, which is this number and then this number, and we'll write the multiples here. So multiples of 9 and then multiples of 12. So let's just do 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 9 times 4 is 36. And then similarly for 12, let's just start writing them. So 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, 12 times 3 is 36. Okay, we stop here because we found the least common multiple, which is 36. Okay, so now we need to convert this where the denominator becomes 36. So 9, if we multiply 9 with 1, 2, 3, 4, we get 36. Since we are multiplying the denominator with 4, we have to multiply the numerator with the same number. So 2 times 4, and then 12 times what? 12 times 3 is 36, and then 1 times 3. So this just becomes 8 plus 3 divided by 36. So this just becomes 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 36. Okay, and this is already a proper fraction because the numerator is smaller than this number. So this is your answer. Okay, now let's solve this final question where we have three fractions here. You see we have a mixed number as well here. So let's just first solve our mixed number. So this just becomes 1 out of 6 minus 1 out of 8 plus, whenever we solve mixed number, we multiply the denominator with this number and then we add the result with this numerator. So 12 times 1 is 12 plus 2 is 14. So this just becomes 14 out of 12. And we can actually simplify it. These both are divisible by 2. So if you want to solve this fraction, you can simplify it too, or you can leave it as is. So in this case, we are just going to leave it as is. So now we have three numbers here. So we have 6, 8, and 12. So we have three denominators. So three unlike denominators. So we have 6, we have 8, and then we have 12. So we are going to do the same exercise here. We're going to write the multiples of 6. So 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, let's do the same for 8. 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, so you see we already found a least common multiple. So let's just stop here. We'll add more if we want to, but let's see if we can get 24 in the table of 12. So 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24. Okay, so we have least common multiple, which is 24. For each one of them is 24. So now we simply need to convert this where the denominator becomes 24. So what number do we need to multiply 6 to get 24? 6 times 4 is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 times 4 will multiply the numerator with the same number. Now 8 times 1, 2, 3, 8 times 3 is 24. 3, and then 1 times 3. And then for 12 times 2 is 24. So 12 times 2, and then 14 times 2. Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4. We carry the symbol here, so this is a negative. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 14 times 2 is 28, divided by 12 times 2 is 24. That's our least common denominator, so 24. And then this just becomes 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 plus 28 is 29. So 29 out of 24. And you notice here this is an improper fraction because this number is greater than this number. So we can simply divide this. 29 divided by 24. 24 times 1 is 24. Let's subtract this. 29 minus 24 is 5. Okay, so this just becomes, what is our whole number? 1. The denominator stays the same, so out of 24, and then this is the remainder 5. So 1 whole 5 by 24, and here's your answer. Okay, if you found this helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you for watching.